Hey everyone, I'm your host Daniel Buffer 147, and I think you all know what you're here for, and I just want to say happy 5th anniversary to the Blue Valve series! This is a very, very exciting milestone for us, and we are very, very grateful for everyone who is here with us and supporting us of how far we have come today. We would not be here today without the support of every single one of you all. And we're so excited to be covering a lot, and I mean a lot of surprises awaiting us today.
How are you calling yourself Daniel Buffer 147 when both of your hands can't even reach to touch each other because of how fat you are? Bro, how are you calling yourself the cameraman when half the time your lanky ass legs shake while recording, and having the audacity to call yourself qualified when the broadcast's quality is like a blind baby learning how to walk half the time? You're right. I'm a fraud.
Anyways, to start us off with first things first, let us begin with the history of how it all truly started. May 10th, 1996, the day where the film known as Twister was released. Fast forward into 2020, and this film would serve as inspiration for the prequel series of Blue Valve, Zen Twister, which was made none other than John 1231 himself. During that time, the game series is known as the Henry Stickmin Collection and Half-Life would also serve as inspiration for the Blue Valve series. This is why you may have seen characters that appear from those series, or have been inspired by not only them, but others such as Transformers and Star Wars, which also are the inspiration for the Skibidi Toilet series that also serve as an inspiration. Not only that, but the series has also taken inspiration from Marvel, Sonic the Hedgehog, Brave Frontier, the Powerpuff Girls, Willy's Wonderland, Undertale, and Invincible. And it may also be taking some inspiration from Persona and Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. Early September 2020, it was SecretBakon's first day at secondary school. He got on the bus and met John, and since then, the two would go on to become a duo of leader and assistant that would then go on to become the very first members of the Blue Valve. And finally, on the day of February 14th, people often celebrate it with the people they love most, but for them, they created something else with that love, a series that would mean the world to them. That series is what we now call Blue Valve. It had a rough start, but over time, everything would only get better and better with the overall quality and more people joining us in the group in what we now call Blue Studios, which is how we got to where we are today. Since that's out of the way now, I figured it'd be nice for you all to know a little more about some characters.
Here's SecretBakon's Doppelganger.
Here's a fun fact about him. He's actually by far technically the first Blue Valve character SecretBakon made. See, he actually made him almost a decade ago when he discovered that you can make your own Powerpuff Girl character from this website called Powerpuff Yourself in around late 2016 or 2017, which probably would have served as a concept to how he'd look like. Back then, this was the persona he took on until 2020, where he changed the design to the one you're now seeing. Though the shirt was a bit different back then, and he changed it again in 2021. Not only that, but he also has a name. Though it's kind of cringy sounding for a character, but for lore reasons in Blue Valve, I will say this isn't actually his name, but a nickname he decided to give himself. Why? Who knows, man. I'm just reading stuff off the teleprompter. Drum roll, please! His nickname is Duck. Yeah, kind of a weird nickname for a character, isn't it? Not sure why he went with naming him, but that's his nickname. Anyways, around the time when he was still making Season 1 Episode 6, he had a bunch of parody ideas that he wanted to do for the next few episodes. However, he scrapped almost all of those because he felt like it'd take too long and it'd serve no purpose. The one that did get put to use was none other than Sonic Adventure 2, as he started to get into the Sonic series more and eventually thought about using his old persona as a character to fill the role of an antagonist, which fit like a glove since he was taking inspiration from it. But you might be asking, why is Duck in the same spot as Sonic and SecretBakon himself is in the same spot as Shadow in Season 2 Episode 1's thumbnail? It's because of how he personally sees them, as SecretBakon's more of a badass who also does have a good heart at times like Shadow, while Duck's just doing his job to stop the threats to the world as he knows it, in a sense, and can be cocky just like Sonic. You can expect to see more inspiration from it in Season 2 Episode 2 of this series. That's all for the history of Blue Valve. And that's how Blue Valve got its start. Huh? You want to know more? Well, there was a Q&A, so let me just put that on real quick.
Okay, I just started recording now, so, yeah. What is the lowest rank in the Blue Valve clan? That is a good question. I actually don't know if there's a specifically lowest ranking. Like, from what I can assume, like, it's probably at least being a soldier. But then again, John has probably made way more Blue Valve member characters than I ever have, so yeah. Why the fuck does the Blue Valve protagonist look like Powerpuff Girls art style according to the internet? Oh yeah, that is a good question actually. Back when I was a kid, around 2016 when the Powerpuff Girls reboot came out, I watched it and it's probably one of my biggest life regrets. So yeah, it's practically scarred me for life in a way. But there are going to be characters where they're not going to look like Powerpuff Girls. I can say that for certain. Because I actually do have two characters in mind that are actually not going to be Powerpuff Girls. I actually kind of show you that. They might appear in Season 2, Episode 2, or Episode 3. Depends, because I haven't really gotten that far into planning for Season 2, Episode 2. What is your favorite character in Blue Valve? If we're talking about my series, I would definitely have to say Avery. because I honestly just think she looks cute in like any outfit, and for her character, like the way I see her is sort of like she's of course like, you know, like a natural android willing like wanting to like find out how it's like to be human and stuff, and I really want and I really see her as a part of like the emotional moments that would probably be in the series. But if we're talking about like in like both series, I actually really haven't thought that through. Like, I'd say out of any like maybe I'll give out some mentions. I wouldn't really see they're my favorites just to be confirmed yet, but I really do like Dr. Claw. I do like his design. And then you have characters like Silver Wilvenhorn and General Bone Crusher. Like the designs for those characters, I think they look really good. They look cool. Who is perhaps the strongest character in both Blue Valve series? Okay, that is actually a good question. Because if we're talking about both series, for John, it sort of depends. It kind of depends. Like, okay, I wouldn't say depends. I just don't really know who the strongest is exactly, but from my series, out of any of the characters we may have seen, like, if you count like any character, just like about anyone in the series, like in my series, like, chances are it's probably like the Red Robot in season 1 episode 6. But if we're talking about reoccurring characters, that would have to go to Avery, since not only does she have the physical strength, like she's slightly smaller she's slightly stronger than both SecretBakon and Sunblade, but she also has a hammer, which just adds on to like how powerful she can be. And for the strongest character in John series, I don't really know, but it's actually such a good question at that point, because there's so many characters in John series. Like, I would say none of my honorable mentions for their favorite part would be strong enough, but I'm not really sure. Like, I might be wrong here, but one of my assumptions would be the Rose Titan. Or Optimus Owl, like probably the Titans. Did Cairo beat Batman with prep time? Ooh. I don't know, it just seems kind of like equal when you put it that way. But Batman's just like a normal human with like, but he's also strong at the same time. Like, there are some cases where where him managing to win fights sometimes is questionable on how he does it, but I think But then again, Cairo has like lasers, and then he also has armor too. He can also fly, not to mention. Like, yeah, I'd say, like, it really depends on how physically strong Cairo is if he were to try and beat Batman in a 1v1. Like, for power scaling purposes, Batman with prep time is capable of beating Superman in a 1v1. Oh yeah, like... And Godzilla. Yeah, no, Cairo's not beating that thing. 100%. Cairo's not beating Batman with prep time.
Its silver wilbur can't come to the land, only wolves exist as a dominant species. What is he like from a planet that he's race dominance on? He's not a wolf, but a cat. He's basically an alien cat, but he's not one of the Astronians, because he lived on like... I'm not so sure if any of you remember this, but if you watch Blue Valve episode 4 part 1, and you would see like a scene of a planet, and if you see that planet, that's where Silver Wilver brings in from. Silver Wilver came to Earth from that planet because of the Trons. He was meant to go to Mars, but instead he took the wrong route. Honestly, coming to Earth wasn't basically a bad idea, because apparently now he likes Earth so much because of women. Every day in his spare time, he likes to drive to Las Vegas just to impress some bitches.
But, okay.
Right.
When does
Blue Valve universe diverge from our timeline? What's happened is, when Queen Elizabeth was trying to stop the Blue Valve, she basically died inside an airship. His son, King Charles, now takes place from his mother, simply doing the plans that his mother's prepared. Apparently, she's smart. She's basically so smart to basically prepare herself if she dies. So she told her son, do this if anything happens to me. He did it. Apparently the Rose Empire exists now because how strong Blue Valve has been getting. Apparently the one leader that was taking over the UK army was basically Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson was the leader, but now King Charles steps in. Boris Johnson is now just a hand for King Charles. So if anything happens to King Charles, Boris Johnson just becomes the leader again.
the British Empire still exists in Blue Valve, but doesn't RL? What changed? That means the Empire is still a thing. Does Britain still control India, Canada, and Australia? Did decolonization happen? Like, the Rose Empire is the British Empire, basically.
Since the Rose Empire now basically exists, life in Britain is kind of going to be hard, because people will get inspections in their house to make sure there's no Blue Valve, make sure there's no Blue Valve contact anywhere, like not even a single bit of a blue owl or like mud owls or something like that. Even a stickman. Even if a stickman had a blue hat, that stickman will get arrested. So let's say sometimes when Blue Valve supply bases get found secretly, the Blue Valve members, they run and hide. They either hide in countries and even riskily hide in the UK. So apparently one time they found a Blue Valve member in the country of the UK, and now the UK has gone so strict, the Rose Empire just now made it look so protected. It's basically, the country is so secured now, they would literally kick anyone out that is not working for the UK.
Why did Britain rebrand to the Rose Empire.
In the Republics, it's filled with roses. It's like simple roses, or even poppies as well.
Yeah, that actually checks
So
out.
like, the Rose Empire just shows its dominance and its great power against anyone who dares to try and like fuck with them.
What is the Rose Empire an actual empire? Is Charles considered an emperor, or is he still just the king? Well, as the title says, like, Charles is still a king, and the Rose Empire is an actual empire because there's like loads of fucking soldiers and people who work there.
If the Rose Empire gets upgraded even more into the first order, then there's definitely going to be an emperor. There's going to be 100% a new emperor in the UK. If King Charles is still alive, or if the new leader. I'm not so sure. I haven't learned too much of the royal family, but if King Charles basically dies, I will say there will be another new take over the Rose Empire and rebrand it into the First Order. Because like I said, I also got plans. Let's say the First Rose Order will not be in the main Blue Valve universe, but actually into the new upcoming Blue Valve Chapter 2 movie. Basically, it's like Star Wars, but less different if Disney did not own it. It's gonna be like very peak with the new Rose Order. That means we'll see new soldiers, new strong striders, new strong everything. The soldiers will have the most devious masks that you will be questioning. Wow, we won't even see stickmans the same anymore. We'll see stickmans with the new masks that will like cover their identity and make them know that they're gonna be the scariest.
Does the Rose Empire recognize trans rights?
But sometimes there will be racism, homophobia in the Blue Valve universe. But let's say the Rose Empire, they don't care about the LGBTQ stuff. They wouldn't mind hearing about it. They wouldn't mind having their country celebrating, because let's say King Charles is an LGBTQ person, so like they wouldn't mind recognizing. They wouldn't care about the whole transgenders rights. They would just be too busy caring about the problems they're dealing with right now.
Yeah, because when it comes to the UK, they're more like diverse on like appearances, like LGBTQ and like countries and whatnot, which is the reason why it has such a diverse identity.
Yes, there's that much. LGBTQ is basically allowed in the UK. Is there any more questions that anyone likes to give out?
They have no more questions. We still have plenty of time for you guys to think of questions. Like, I have no more questions either. And then
well,
yeah, hopefully.
It's gone. It's gone. Get some.
Hey! Want to know how Blue Studios works on Blue Valve from behind the scenes? Well, I'm gonna show you the ways of how both me and John cook up the series. There are three main things we use to bring it to life, and those are IBIS Paint X, KineMaster, and a light motion. Let's start off with IBIS Paint X.
I'm gonna do John's style of things first before SecretBakon's for people who are less experienced in art and editing, but still want to help in making stuff for his series. There's no fixed canvas size he uses, as he thinks of how big the drawing should be, and in most cases, it takes up most of the space. The brush he uses is just a default brush, aka dip pen hard, and the size is around 3.0. The strokes aren't really that precise, and there's no sketching, shading, or highlighting either. I'm not sure how I can explain this best, but I'll try to simplify things. First off, the head is drawn with the circle tool, then the bottom gets erased for a more straight curved line to form a chin. Next, the torso, which is drawn like a chicken leg. Then for the legs, draw them like rectangles starting from what the top's like to the bottom, but it's a little wider and they have small pointy tips to represent feet. After that, for the arms, they can draw them like bananas without the stem seen in a vertical view. For the hands, draw them in a circular shape at the end of the arms. After you're done drawing them, erase the lines inside of the torso to make them connected. That's how you draw the body. Now onto the face. First, draw the eye shapes like very thin leaves. Then draw the eyes in a circular shape and just add a dot. Then draw a V shape for the nose. Finally, draw a long mouth and use the bucket tool to paint. All you have to do at this point now is save the image with a transparent background. And voila! That's how you draw characters in the John 121 art style. Alright, now I'm gonna show you how to animate with John's style using KineMaster. So once you've made a new project in KineMaster, all you want to do is go to Media, Image Assets, tap this black background, extend it a bit, and then you go to Layer, Media, and find wherever your background picture is. So I'm just going to be using this Metfield one, and we don't want to make it fit like the entire screen. No, we want to like zoom in a bit because we want to make the movement feel natural alongside the background. I'll show you what I mean if you don't understand exactly. Then we're gonna go to Media again and find the character we just made in John's art style. And there you can see that's our little guy right here. So I'm just gonna drop him and then make him big. And we're just gonna basically make it look like as if he's just walking around the field. So I'm just gonna come out, put him out of the view for a bit. And then we're gonna animate the scene using keyframes. And in John's style, he uses a lot of keyframes. Though I'm not sure how else best to explain this. So hopefully me showing you will help you understand more. But before I do that, I'm probably just gonna make it so that the guy blends in with the background first. And if you want to do that, you should go to Adjustment on the layer. And then in this case, I will be lowering the brightness down to -45. As just for that. And now we should move them out of the way then. And then we just start animating. And there you have it. While the character blending in with the background looks good, it can be better, and that's what the stickers strong users are for. So we're gonna go into stickers, and as you can see, the ones who uses most are the first stickers. So we're gonna use one of these stickers and pretend something crazy just happened. Like this one. Then we're gonna make it big, but not too big. And then we're gonna put it at the start of the timeline. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. Just pretend something crazy has happened here. And then here is with the effect. It looks better with the lighting, right? But let's say we wanted to make the scene more intense. How do we do that? We go to effect, then pick an effect that shakes the whole screen, such as wiggle. I'm gonna place that at the start of the timeline. And we're just going to make it fit in with the whole screen. And right where it says properties with the tiny red circle, you can actually change the properties. But if you don't see that red circle, that means you can't change them. Simple as that. John usually leaves the properties untouched for this effect, probably. But you could just mess around with how much you want it to shake. But if I play it now, this is what it will look like with the effect. Yeah, the scene now just looks like as if an earthquake just happened and the guy just did not give a fuck. And that's pretty much it for John's style of animating in Blue Valve. So now, let's get to SecretBakon's style of doing things. Alright, now on to my style of doing things. This is for the more experienced artists and editors who use KineMaster. I use a canvas of 1280 x 1280 and the same brush as John, except my brush size is mainly 3.6. I also use the circle, line, and symmetry tools a lot to draw the characters since they're mostly just power puffs, though I'll make more human characters in the future. I use separate layers for everything. The lineup, which is black, base colors which are taken from images of characters, shadows which the layer is set to multiply except for the eyes, which I make a new layer, use black, and set it to around 5 or 6% depending on which ones are more visible. Highlighting, which the layer is set to linear dodge with a 50% opacity. I have a good basic understanding of where the highlights and shadows should be, but where the character is looking at. And for the moving body parts, I make folders for each one and make layers for them if I find it necessary for how much I'm gonna make the characters move. For the backgrounds, I just use stock images and put them on a 1080 x 720 canvas to fit the screen. Now, onto KineMaster. Okay, we're in KineMaster again. So we're just gonna use the background we resize and iris paint as our background. In some cases, for when I do make separate body parts for scenes, it's for a technique called tweening where you use those separate images to make a smooth animation. After I'm done animating, I use the graphs and KineMaster, in which you go to the little curved icon below the keyframe icon. I mainly just use these two graphs for smooth transitions for the first and last keyframes. Here's the difference of how it looks like. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into a light motion. I haven't really used this one much compared to the others, but I did use it for certain animations for my series Blue Valve Season 2 Episode 1 whenever I felt it was necessary. Though, I must admit, I'm not really that experienced in this part. And that's probably because of my low understanding of an ant when it comes to tweeting on here, trying to use it for making my series. Back when I was making my series Season 2 Episode 1, I felt like the graphs in KineMaster were way smoother, which is why I opted out for them. And for a few animations, I felt like using the graphs in a light motion wouldn't make them feel smoother than in KineMaster. Though I may switch to make it stay more in place. But overall, it's kind of mostly the same process, except you have a tool to make everything stay in place, that being the pivot point, which can be accessed by tapping the icon with 4 arrows to place it wherever you need. And you can rename the separate body parts to make things easier. Though the keyframe and graph placements aren't just the same for everything, as it needs to be adjusted differently for every body part to stay in place. Anyways, here's what it looks like now in comparison to the KineMaster version of graphs. And that's all for my style of making Blue Valve episodes. Huh, wasn't expecting them to include a behind the scenes video. Huh? Hey everyone, I know you're hearing my voice for the 3rd time in this video now, but I just want to say thank you for all of the support you guys have given for this series throughout the last 5 years. You guys just have no idea, and I mean it, just how much it means to both me and John, and we wouldn't be here today without it. And of course, we at Blue Studios still have a bunch of content we'd like to release, hopefully this year. Such as John's series' Season 2 Episode 4 Part 4 and my series' Season 2 Episode 2. But not only that, but faithful remakes / rewrites of some of the older episodes and a lot more. What's that? It's Avery's birthday today.
Where am I?
Let's get this started. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to Avery, happy birthday to you.
Birthday?
Yeah, happy birthday. Now be gone. Right, where was I? Alright, there's gonna be a lot more for this year. But in order to make that happen, we're gonna need your help. Yes, you. What we're mainly looking for are the following: script writers, artists, voice actors, and editors. Though other roles such as musicians, sound effect artists, and VFX artists are welcome to join too. Though do note that this is an unpaid long-term project, so please be willing to often commit if you plan on doing so. That way production isn't inconsistently frustrating. The series also has some disturbances. We'd always appreciate the help and effort we can get as much as possible to tell such a passionate story with some cool sci-fi action. So be sure to join our servers if you think this is the place for you. Now one last thing I want to say is that huge thanks to our artist Kaiko, who drew the characters from SecretBakon's series for this video's thumbnail. And that's all I have to say for this video. Again, thank you all so much, and here's to another 5 years of Blue Valve.